Our story continues as Jacob tries to persuade Agent Ross. Jacob realizes that his troubled past and military training make him a tough nut to crack. However, he senses a glimmer of uncertainty behind his stoic demeanor.
Listen, Ross. I know we're both just pawns in a much larger game, but I'm starting to think that the game is rigged against us. Have you ever stopped to consider what we're really fighting for?
Agent Ross's expression remains neutral, but his eyes flicker with a hint of curiosity. "I'm fighting for my country," he responds gruffly. "And I won't let anyone or anything compromise that." Jacob senses an opening and presses on.
But what if the people giving the orders aren't working in the country's best interest? What if they're using us to further their own agendas?
Agent Ross's gaze lingers on Jacob, and for a moment, Jacob thinks he sees a glimmer of doubt. Then, his mask slips back into place. "I have my orders," he repeats firmly. "And I'll carry them out?" It's clear that Agent Ross is still torn. Jacob realized that he needed to find a way to crack his resolve and make him see the truth. He decides to confront Agent Ross with evidence of the conspiracy, hoping to shock him into seeing the truth.
I know you're loyal, Ross, but I have proof that our mission is just a cover for something much bigger, something sinister.
Agent Ross's expression turns skeptical, but he takes the folder, scanning its contents. His eyes widen as he sees the evidence: secret memos, cryptic messages, and images of strange technology. "This can't be," he mutters, his voice laced with doubt.
It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're not fighting for our country. We're fighting for a shadow organization that's manipulating world events, and we're just pawns in their game.
Agent Ross looks up, his eyes locked onto Jacob's. For a moment, Jacob sees a glimmer of recognition, of understanding. "I need time to process this," Ross says finally, his voice is barely above a whisper. "But if what you're saying is true, I'll help you, Jacob. We need to take down this organization, no matter the cost." Jacob senses a breakthrough, but also a warning sign: if Agent Ross is swayed, others may be too. The conspiracy could be more extensive than Jacob thought. A twist. Agent Ross's sudden change of heart may not be entirely genuine. Ross might be playing a double game, working to uncover the truth while still fulfilling his original mission to monitor and control the other team leaders. As Jacob considers trusting Agent Ross, he begins to notice subtle inconsistencies in his behavior. He seems overly interested in the other team leaders, asking pointed questions about their missions and objectives.
"Ross, what's going on?"
Jacob asked, his instincts screamed warning signs.
"Ross, you know more than you're letting on, don't you?"
Agent Ross's expression turns neutral, but a flicker of surprise betrays him. "I'm just trying to understand the bigger picture," he says, a bit too smoothly. Jacob senses a hidden agenda, and his trust begins to waver. Has Agent Ross been playing Jacob all along? Agent Ross's true intentions are revealed, and he's determined to take Jacob down. He's trying to provoke Jacob, to make him react impulsively, and gather evidence to label Jacob a disaffect. "You think you're the only team leader, Jacob?" Agent Ross sneers. "There are others out there, just like you, carrying out missions. You're not special, Jacob. You're just a cog in the machine." Ross takes a step closer, his eyes cold and calculating. "You better learn your place, Jacob. You're not a rogue agent. You're not a hero. You're just a tool, and tools can be replaced." Agent Ross's words are designed to anger and intimidate Jacob. But he knows that giving in to his emotions would play right into his hands. Jacob decides to play it cool, apologizing and acknowledging Agent Ross's authority, all while hiding his true intentions. Jacob knows he can't trust Agent Ross, and that he needs to find a way to secretly collaborate with the other team leaders.
Thank you, Agent Ross. I'll make sure to stay focused on my mission's objectives from now on.
Agent Ross eyes Jacob skeptically, but seems to accept his apology. See that you do, Jacob. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Jacob knows he's walking a tightrope, but he's determined to find a way to work with the other team leaders without arousing Agent Ross's suspicion. Jacob starts to think about how he can secretly contact them, and begins to formulate a plan. Meanwhile, Agent Ross is thinking, Jacob's apology seems sincere, but I'm not convinced. I'll need to keep a close eye on him. And I still need to find out what he knows about the other team leaders. Jacob's next move is to try and gather intel on the other team leaders, without alerting Agent Ross. Jacob starts to dig through classified files, looking for any mention of the other teams or their leaders. As Jacob searches, he comes across a cryptic message that reads, Echo 1, Bravo 6, Charlie 9. Look for the pattern. Jacob decides to use the message as a starting point to try and contact the other team leaders directly. Jacob figures that if he can gather more information about the teams mentioned in the message, Echo 1, Bravo 6, Charlie 9, he might be able to identify the leaders and potentially make contact. Jacob starts by analyzing mission logs and personnel files, looking for any connections to the teams mentioned in the message. After weeks of searching, he finally finds a match, a team leader named Nova from Echo 1, who will be leading a mission in the same region as Jacob's next operation. Jacob makes a mental note to accidentally cross paths with Nova during the mission, hoping to establish a connection without arousing suspicion. As the mission unfolds, Jacob carefully maneuvers himself into a situation where he encounters Nova. They exchange brief, coded messages, and Jacob learns that Nova is also suspicious of the government's true intentions. Nova whispers, "Meet me at the old clock tower in Berlin. Come alone." Jacob's connection to Echo 1 adds a personal layer to his mission. He's not just trying to uncover a conspiracy, he's also seeking answers about his own past and involvement with the team. With this in mind, Jacob decides to attend the meeting with Nova, hoping to reunite with his former teammate and gain a valuable ally. He makes his way to the old clock tower in Berlin, Jacob's senses on high alert for any signs of danger. As he approaches the meeting point, he sees Nova waiting in the shadows. They exchange a brief, nodding recognition before Nova leads Jacob to a secure location. "Jacob, it's been a long time," Nova says, once they're safely inside. "I see you're still searching for answers. We need to talk about what really happened during our time in Echo 1. Jacob's heart races as he prepares to confront the truth about his past and the mysterious events surrounding Echo 1. Jacob later finds out the Nova is an altar given to Christie so that Jacob does not remember their time in the Echo 1 missions together. A stunning revelation. Jacob's reunion with Nova, aka Christie, takes a dramatic turn as he discovers the truth about their shared past. Christie, now revealed as Nova, explains that their memories of Echo 1 were suppressed to protect them from the government's sinister plans. However, Jacob's exceptional mental resilience has allowed him to start piecing together fragments of their time together. Jacob's mind reels as he struggles to reconcile his fragmented memories with the shocking truth. He remembers snippets of missions, Christie's skills, and their camaraderie, but the full extent of their experiences remains shrouded in mystery. Christie's eyes lock onto Jacob's, filled with a mix of emotions, concern, trust, and a hint of fear. "Jacob, we need to be careful. Our memories are resurfacing, and that puts us in grave danger. We must work together to uncover the truth and take down the conspiracy before it's too late." Jacob's determination intensifies, fueled by his growing memories and his bond with Christie.
You're right, Christie. I want to know more, but we can't talk now. We can't slip up now. Agent Ross has his eye on me. Not yet, but I've heard of them. I've been trying to gather intel without arousing suspicion. Agent Ross is already skeptical of me.
Christie nods understandingly. Be careful, Jacob. The others are just as wary. Joseph is the most elusive, always seems to be one step ahead. James is charismatic, but has a hidden agenda. And Rocco. Rocco is a wild card, unpredictable and dangerous. Jacob's mind races, processing the information.
I'll be cautious, but I need to know more about our time in Echo 1, Christie. What happened? What did we do?
Christie's expression turns somber, her voice barely above a whisper. We'll talk soon, Jacob. But for now, let's just say, we were part of something big. Something that could change everything. With that, Christie disappears into the shadows, leaving Jacob to ponder the mysteries of Echo 1 and the true intentions of the other team leaders. Jacob decides to continue gathering intel on the other team leaders while also building trust with Agent Ross. Jacob meets with Agent Ross, sharing some of the information he's gathered, but carefully omitting any details about Christie or Echo 1. Agent Ross seems pleased with Jacob's progress, but still maintains a level of skepticism. Good work, Jacob. But remember, I'm watching you. Don't think about crossing me or the agency. Jacob nods, playing the part of the loyal agent.
Of course, Agent Ross. I understand the risks and rewards.
As Jacob leaves the meeting, he can't help but feel like he's walking a tightrope. One misstep could mean capture, or worse. Meanwhile, Jacob receives a cryptic message from an unknown source: meet me at the old warehouse at midnight. Come alone. Jacob decides to attend the meeting, hoping to gain valuable information about the other team leaders. He arrives at the old warehouse. Jacob's senses once again on high alert for any signs of danger. Inside, he finds Joseph, the elusive team leader Christie mentioned earlier. Joseph is shrouded in shadows, making it difficult for Jacob to read his expression. Jacob, I've heard a lot about you, Joseph says, his voice low and gravelly. I must admit, I'm intrigued. You're either very brave or very foolish. Jacob stands his ground, trying to appear confident.
I'm just trying to uncover the truth, Joseph. About Echo 1, about the agency, about everything.
Joseph chuckles, a dry, mirthless sound. The truth is complicated, Jacob. But I'll give you a piece of advice: be careful who you trust. Even among the team leaders, there are those who would sell their souls for power. With that, Joseph disappears into the darkness, leaving Jacob to ponder his words. Jacob shifts his focus to learning more about the other team leaders and their missions. He starts by gathering intel on James, trying to understand his charismatic personality and hidden agenda. After weeks of surveillance, Jacob discovers that James is leading a team on a mission codenamed Nightshade. The details are scarce, but Jacob suspects it's connected to a string of high-profile assassinations. Next, Jacob turns his attention to Rocco, the wild card. He tracks Rocco's movements, finding a pattern of erratic behavior and unexplained absences. Jacob begins to suspect that Rocco may be working on a rogue mission, potentially compromising the entire agency. With this new information, Jacob decides to reach out to Christie, Nova, again, hoping to gain a deeper understanding of the team leaders and their motivations. Christie agrees to meet Jacob, revealing that she's been investigating a mole within the agency. Someone is feeding information to the enemy, Jacob. We need to find out who before it's